All right, let's get into one of the most fascinating stories in the Quran. And this one, it's not what you'd expect. We're not talking about epic battles or legendary kings. Nope. This is about a mysterious, almost accidental encounter that completely turned things upside down for a group of beings from a world that exists right alongside ours.
Habibi, assalamu alaikum. A very warm peace be upon all of you. Let's begin. So our story really kicks off with this chance meeting. I mean, just one single moment, where two different worlds, one we can see and one we can't, just collided in the most unbelievable way. Okay, so before we get any deeper, we've got to be clear on who we're talking about here. The jinn, right? The Quran explains them as these unseen beings created by God who live in a world that's parallel to ours, pretty much right alongside us, but invisible.
So try to picture this, okay? It's an evening in Mecca. The Prophet Muhammad is reciting the Quran. And out of nowhere, a group of these jinn, they just happened to be passing by. I mean, they weren't looking for him. They had no idea this was coming. They just stopped and they listened. And what they heard in that moment, well, it changed everything for them, forever. And that one moment, that chance encounter, brings us right to the heart of this whole story, how the jinn reacted to the words they were hearing. And let me tell you, their reaction was immediate and it was huge.
You could just feel their awe. I mean, they didn't just hear some nice poetry, they heard something they called wondrous. It was incredible to them. And they got it, instantly. They understood its purpose was to guide people to the right path. And boom, they believed, right then and there. They even declared, "We will never, ever associate anyone with our Lord again."
So what's really crucial to get here is just how fast and total this transformation was. There was zero hesitation. They heard it. They knew it was the truth. They believed in it. And they committed to worshiping God alone. It's like 4 massive steps, all taken in a single breathtaking moment of clarity.
And this new faith, it wasn't just some passing emotion. It was a complete teardown and rebuild of their entire worldview. It forced them to correct some really big mistakes in what they used to believe.
Yeah, this new understanding made them rethink a whole list of things. They realized God doesn't have a partner or a wife or a child. They admitted how foolish it was to say things about God that weren't true. They even said, wow, we were so wrong to think that no one, human or jinn, would ever lie about God. But this last point is really fascinating. They owned up to the fact that when humans would ask them for help or protection, it actually just made everything worse. It just ramped up the fear and the wrongdoing for everybody involved.
This whole experience also solved a kind of cosmic mystery for them. See, they used to have, let's call it access to the heavens, but something had changed. So, what was going on?
Well, the jinn actually explain this big shift themselves. They talk about how before they could go and sit in certain spots in the lower heavens to eavesdrop, to listen in. But after the Quran started being revealed, everything was different. Suddenly, the heavens were packed with strong guards, angels, and shooting stars. And now, any jinn who even tries to listen in finds a waiting flame ready for them. The message was now officially sealed off and protected.
And this new reality, you can imagine, it brought about this deep sense of humility. They finally understood with total certainty that there's just no escaping God's power. Not here on earth, and not even if they tried to flee into the sky. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
So naturally, an event this huge is going to have some major consequences, right? For one, it created a massive split in the jinn community, and it also helped clarify what the Prophet's mission was all about.
And just like with humans, the Quran's message divided them. You had some jinn who accepted the truth and submitted, they became Muslims. And then you had others, the qasitun, who were the unjust ones, the ones who decided to turn away.
And the Quran is incredibly direct about where these two paths lead. No mincing words here. Those who submitted, they found guidance, the right path. But the unjust, the ones who rejected it, the text uses this really stark image. They would become firewood for hell.
But the jinn who believed, man, they just couldn't get enough. The surah gives this amazing description. It says when they saw the Prophet praying, they would just crowd around him, packed in so tightly. The word used is libad, which means like compacted, felted wool. What a powerful way to describe just how desperate they were for this guidance.
And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most profound takeaway from this entire story. It's all about knowledge, power, and the absolute sovereignty of God.
So through this whole incident, God commands the Prophet to make his own role crystal clear. He's told to declare, hey, I only worship my Lord, and I don't associate anyone with him. He has to say, I don't have the power to hurt you or to guide you. Even he himself has no protection from God if he were to stray. The key point here is that his job, his only job, is to convey the message. That's it, to deliver it and nothing more.
And that mission, just being a messenger, is tied to this fundamental truth about knowledge itself. When we're talking about the unseen, what the Quran calls al-ghaib, there is only one being who knows it, and that is God, alone.
The rule is completely absolute. God does not reveal his knowledge of the unseen to anyone, period. But there is one very specific exception. He might choose to reveal a little piece of it to a messenger that he has chosen.
And even when that happens, it's not just left up to chance. God sends angels to act like guards, surrounding the messenger from the front and the back. Why? To make absolutely sure that the message gets delivered perfectly, without any interference, exactly the way God intended it. It's like a divine chain of custody ensuring its purity.
And so, this whole incredible story, this encounter between the jinn and the Quran, it all boils down to this one final powerful question for us to think about. After all is said and done, who really knows the unseen? Except God.